He would pay me $2,000 a month, and not child support, a verbal agreement. He still has his wife, his family. They both have 2 incomes, and it's just me and my child here.
There's been quite a few times that when I introduce a court case, I say something to the extent of, this one is crazy, but this one right here, it takes the damn cake. What is it that I mean by that? Well, a man, a 50-year-old white man, a doctor of optometry, got a woman that he is not currently married to pregnant. Now, this woman was extorting this man for $2,000 a month until his current wife found out about the payments. Now, what also makes this story crazy is that the woman is 30 years his junior, black, with a neck tattoo. Getting your hidden sugar baby pregnant is absolutely insane. This is a lesson in never judging a book by its cover, as well as a lesson in wrapping it up, keeping it in your pants, because this guy is financially paying for it, and it damn near destroyed his family. Now, there's 2 major contested issues of this case. The first one being what is going to be the name of the child. So we'll go through that for a little bit. And the last one is going to be an agreement on the child support payment. Now, said before that she was extorting him for $2,000 a month to keep it quiet. But let's see, will the family court make him pay more or less than what he was being extorted for? Let's get active on this one. Without further ado,
do you both swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. We're here on a petition to establish the parent-child relationship. We have a partial agreement that I'll read out into the record first. The parents are in agreement that Mr. Michael Haugen is the biological father of the child. Queen Kalia Briggs. However, the last name of the child is contested, so I'll take testimony on that. The parents are in agreement that Miss Dye be appointed as the sole managing conservator, and that Mr. Haugen be appointed as the possessory conservator. Miss Dye will designate the child's primary residence with no geographic restriction. The parents agree that Mr. Haugen has a gross monthly income of $6,250 and that he has no other minor children. Neither parent has access to private health insurance at a reasonable cost, so Miss Dye will apply for Medicaid, and the father will pay medical support of $250 per month beginning 11/1/2024. There's no request for retroactive child medical or dental support. Mr. Haugen will pay the court costs as billed from Dallas County, and Miss Dye is requesting a non-disclosure of her address, as she doesn't want Mr. Haugen's wife to know where she's living.
Yes, you guys are looking at this correct. The woman with the neck tattoo and the red hair is the mother, while the older gentleman looking very perplexed is the father. What was interesting that we learned right there is that he has no other children outside of this, and that he's an older man. So he probably never wanted to have kids throughout his life, which probably goes into why he never wanted to be in this child's life as well. I mean, along with keeping it a secret from his current wife. But let's listen at the opening questions directed to the mother.
I'll take testimony on the contested issues, which are the last name of the child, child support, and possession. The state calls the mother. Ma'am, will you please state your name?
Demetria Dye.
And what's the child's name?
Queen Kalia Dye Robertson currently. Her name was recently changed.
Okay. And who is the father of Queen?
Michael Haugen.
Is there anyone else that could possibly be her father?
No.
And when she was born or conceived, were you married to anyone?
No, and not at the time of her birth. I got married after, but not during.
Okay, so you got married after her birth.
Yeah, but she wasn't birthed during marriage. No. Just he was there.
And you're in agreement today to establish that Mr. Haugen is the biological father of Queen?
Yes, we got a paternity test done.
Okay. And did you hear those other agreements that I read out?
Yes.
And as to those specific terms, are you still in agreement?
Not really, since we have to kind of go over everything. I do have a couple of...
What did I read out what did I read out that you're not in agreement with?
The name change, he had an issue.
Okay, so other than child support, the name change, and visitation, do you agree to everything else?
This one.
Okay. And so your daughter's last name, you're saying that right now it's Di Robertson,
Yes.
and you're wanting it to stay that way?
Yes.
And Di is your last name, correct?
Yes.
And where does Robertson come from?
That is a name I came up with. My family friend, that helps me take care of her. I kind of incorporated it with them, and that's her family that she's been knowing her whole life. She's 6 now. So they, learned their names and everything like that, and are learning to write their names, but that's her family. So I got that from the people that helped me raise her.
Okay. And you're not in agreement just to have it as Di?
If he wants to add Hagen, I'm in agreement with him taking her family's name to add her biological father. But just blatantly taking her family's name for no reason, just because he doesn't understand it, no.
Okay, so would you be in agreement for her last name to be Di Hagen?
Yeah.
Okay, and to drop the Robertson?
That's fine.
Okay.
Did I ask something?
No, you're not the witness.
Okay. No, well, I was just going to say, I didn't.
No, I don't want to hear you talk. Ms. Di is the witness.
Okay.
I just got one question. Where the heck do these two people even meet? If you guys haven't noticed, she has 69 tattooed on the front of her neck. Wild work. But he's probably into freaks, which she obviously is. What's also interesting to note there that we just learned is that she was able to get married even after having a love child.
And then Miss Di, what kind of visitation schedule are you wanting the father to follow?
She's 6 now. Prior to this, even the court hearing, prior to us being involved in this, I've continuously asked him to FaceTime her. She's almost 6 now. Her birthday will be in December, so I keep saying she's 6, but she's 5. But I've asked him to communicate with her, even just FaceTime her, because I know he's out of state. He denied it. He said that he didn't want any involvement. At this moment, he didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't want to see her. I'd send him pictures of her. He wouldn't reply. So at this moment, I have no want for him to be in her life, because I don't trust that, like he's already stated that he doesn't want to be. So I want, like someone who genuinely loves, or like where love is genuinely given, fine. But from him, I've almost begged him to be a part. So now I'm at the point where I don't trust that would be a genuine, relationship.
And so you're wanting him to have a no visitation schedule at this time?
Yeah, no, I don't care for it. I've asked him to talk to her and visit her prior to court, and he didn't want to do it. So I don't want it to be court appointed.
Has he ever visited her in the past?
He's never even seen her.
Okay. And you said he lives out of state. Do you know where he lives?
He lives in Florida, and we have like IMO, FaceTime. He has an iPhone. I have an iPhone. I've asked him to even FaceTime her. She's only 5. Her memories wouldn't have been anything, just to see her and like say hey. And he didn't want to do that. So I don't have any desire for it.
Okay. And if Mr. Hagen does have visitation with your daughter, do you have any safety concerns if he has overnight visits?
I don't feel comfortable with that at all. That he's like a stranger to her. He may be biologically her father, but that's a man that she doesn't know and he doesn't know. And I wouldn't feel safe with my daughter going over a man's house that she doesn't know, blood or not.
Okay. And the child support based on father's income, we've calculated at $965 per month. And that would begin November 1st, 2024. Ms. Di, do you agree or disagree with that amount?
At this moment, I have to agree because of the financial situation that we're in. But we did have since now our contract is null and void, I would like to tell the judge prior, we did have a verbal agreement that he would pay me $2,000 a month and not child support, a verbal agreement, and it pertained to taking care of my child. So now getting the $900 is very gut-wrenching and is very detrimental to the society that we live in for me and my baby. He still has his wife, his family. They both have 2 incomes, and it's just me and my child here. So
did Mr. Hogan pay the $2,000 in the past, or is that just something that y'all
he's
talked about?
paid it for the last 5 to 7 years. Yes.
Okay, so every month for the last 5 or so years, he'd pay you $2,000 each month?
Yeah, $2,000 each month. And for birthdays, he would assist with an extra $1,000 because her birthday is December 4th and Christmas is December 25th. This was a verbal contract that we agreed to that he did every year. But once his wife found out, basically, he disappeared. The contract was null and void, and it was my responsibility. I had to file child support. I had to continue to pressure them. Basically, we were just left on our own, and we already had this agreement. He was paying me even prior to me having my baby $2,000 a month. So it was not just based on child support. But now that we're here at court and it's, it's like now I've basically been, me and my baby are in a pickle. I'm having to figure out a lot of extra things. And, society's gotten hard. So it's like.
When did he stop paying the $2,000?
Yes, he stopped paying the $2,000 in April once his wife found out completely. He didn't message me, wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't send me $1. Last month, they sent me $1,350 for August and September.
Okay.
And he sent me $1,350 this month for October. So the only time that he was not paying me was just from April to August. And then he continued under agreement that I was already doing so bad from not, having the support over the months. I feel like I just had to take it so I could have a place for me and my baby to stay. Because at this point, if you're getting $2,000 a month, you're paying rent, and then someone just disappears on you, you're homeless now. So now I'm literally like, going through other stuff with my baby.
And so you want the child support to be set at $2,000 a month?
Yes.
This debacle is one of the reasons why I always tell the G's on my channel to operate with a degree of integrity, high integrity within your life. Your lies will eventually catch up to you. And if you're combining your lies with going raw dog into your sugar baby, it'll come back and hit you like a Mack truck. But think about the level and degree of this Mack truck. You've been paying $2,000 a month for 5-ish years to keep her quiet as hush money. This woman has constructed her life, foregone job opportunities around this $2,000 per month. She's already gotten remarried. Now she's talking about the financial hardship and struggles, or might even have to go homeless because he is no longer sending $2,000 a month. This woman is obviously just leeching off of this man. She or her husband can get a job. They have a 2-parent income. But now that your gravy train has stopped and now you have to stop your lifestyle of having good money for not having worked for it besides laying down on your back, raw daddy, you're still out here expecting him to shit out gold bricks, even though now his wife knows. Completely jacked up situation, but I would be remiss to not remind you guys that none of this would ever be a thing if the guy wasn't such a damn idiot. Men that allow components of their life to be ruled by their lower head as opposed to their upper head are not prioritizing their life correctly. And because of it, now he has 18 years of pain. And it's a damn shame because the person that will hurt the most is that child.
Okay. And has there been any family violence in the last 2 years between you and the father?
No, we haven't seen each other since. Yeah.
Okay. And you're requesting a non-disclosure of your address?
Yes, please.
Are you comfortable with your phone number being printed in the court order?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Rich, do you have any cross-examination of Ms. Dye?
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Dye, the gentleman that you are referring to, naming your child Queen Di Robertson, that's not a formal recognized relationship in the state of Texas. Is that correct?
Di, you need to answer the question.
I'm sorry?
All right, Ms. Di, the name that you are currently using for your child, Robertson, is that a result of a marriage in
No.
the state of Texas? All right. Has anyone adopted your child, Queen, since the child was born?
No.
Okay. And are you telling the court you would be unwilling to continue naming the child Queen Di, D-Y-E?
Without Hagen?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Okay.
Because if there's a discrepancy with the father, he should put his name with hers, correct?
All right.
He's her family.
Since
Why
your
take it? Why
child-
take her name and just leave it as is, just to be rude?
Okay,
I don't
thank you.
understand
During our meeting with the assistant AG, you acknowledged that since the birth of your child, my client has paid you in excess of $100,000, correct?
No, I just stated what he paid me for the last 6 years, 7 years.
And
$2,000 a month.
and
Add your
would
math
you-
to it.
This woman has said no, but he's been paying $2,000 a month for 5 years. That comes out to like $140,000. So yes, he's paid in excess of $100,000 to you.
And did you, in fact, sign a settlement agreement that I prepared in the last couple of months, where going forward, you would receive child support of $1,000 per month
Mm-hmm.
based upon income and up to $350 for reimbursement for insurance? And you have received those funds, correct?
Yes, for August, September, and October, I have received those.
And you signed that agreement, correct?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Nothing
They told us
further,
that
Your
agreement
Honor.
was null and void anymore.
Stop talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
So she's already signed the documentation that she was going to be receiving $1,000 a month. She's been receiving that for several months. But now it's time for what you've all been waiting for, the father to speak. Let's go.
Thank you, Ms. Rich. Ms. Knight, go ahead and call your next witness.
Yes, the state will call the father. Sir, will you state your name?
Michael Haugen.
And Mr. Haugen, did you hear those agreements I read out at the very beginning of this hearing?
Yes.
And as to those specific terms, are you still in agreement?
Well, I didn't know she had legally changed the kid's name. If she already spent
So
money.
not including the child's name,
Mm.
child support or visitation, are you in agreement with everything else that I read out?
Yes, I think it's up to the daughter if she wants to see me.
And so going back to Queen's last name, you heard Miss Dye state that she'd be okay with the last name being Dye. Haugen, are you okay with that?
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't know she legally changed the name to Robertson. If she already did that, then that's fine. I thought she was just gonna name her that, like put her name for that in school and whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so what do you want Queen's last name to be?
Again, I haven't been involved. I don't really have much say in that. It's whatever Demetria wants. It's fine.
Okay, so it sounds like she wants it to stay as Dye Robertson. You're okay with that?
Yeah, it's okay.
And based on your income, we calculated child support at $965 per month beginning November 1st. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, I do work on contract basis. So my current contract ends on the 20th. Sometimes I've gone right from Friday to Monday on one contract, and I've gone 5-6 months before I find another one. I'll have to submit some kind of adjustment, I guess, when depending on what happens, if I can find something else or not.
And is it correct that in the past several years, you and Ms. Dye had an agreement where you'd pay, or you'd send her $2,000 a month?
It was not an agreement. It was basically forced, and it was actually $2,200 a month the last couple of years. It was $550 a week, and there was $500 the year, a few years before that. It was $450 a few years before that, and $400. So it's probably started out around more like $400 a week, then went up $50 every 6 months to a year. Every week, nonstop. If I didn't have the money that week, sometimes I would give her 100 and then 350 and then 200 wherever I could round it up. Do an hour of work somewhere and make some money, borrow money from my family. I lost my house during the process because I couldn't afford to pay that too and pay her. So yeah, but I've been paying it nonstop the whole time. The only time I stopped was when they were supposed to be working on an agreement and she wasn't communicating back and forth, and it took a while to get that worked out. And then I started paying immediately as soon as the agreement was signed.
Now you guys begin to understand why I'm saying that this is extortion, blackmail, or hush money. This man lost his house to continue to pay her. This is such a cautionary tale for men, how temporary pleasures can result into a lifetime of pain. From the most expensive store-bought coochie that a man could buy with the 69 tatted on her neck, $150,000 plus for some cake? Absurd. She was looking for a lick and found him. Like, who nowadays thinks that having a child is an excuse to not get a job?
Okay. And so for the order, you're in agreement with child support to be $965.
For right now, yeah, that's 20% of what I'm making.
Okay. And what kind of visitation schedule are you wanting with the child?
Again, I'm very conflicted about this. I don't know. I've never had this happen before. So, and like I said, I did not know. I was not 100% sure with my daughter until I got the paternity test. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to bother. So she said that she was asking about me. If she does, then that's fine. If she's, I don't know, she's told her who I am. If she said her father's the bad guy and I never want you to see her, then maybe I shouldn't. I think it's up to the daughter, and she'll find out along the way, I guess.
Okay.
I don't have any right to demand it.
And where do you live again?
In Southeast Florida. I do want a physical address. It doesn't have to be hers, where I can send things. I think I have to have an address to put her on some kind of 529 plan if I want to. So I need some kind of physical address, even if it's a PO box, I guess, or something, right? I don't have to have an address to be able to come exchange the person or whatever you're talking about. I don't need Demetria's actual address.
Okay, so you want an address for the mother and for where the child lives.
Well, something I can send things to and use as a registered address if I have to for any. Like I said, I would think I need some kind of physical address for one of those 529 plans, right? Or can it be all online? I don't know.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Rich, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. The suggestion, Mr. Hagen, that you would consider opening a 529 account, that was at your own suggestion. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And the sole reason that you are asking for an address, you're not asking for Ms. Dye's address, but you are asking for some permanent address that you can send gifts, that when and if you open up a 529 account or its equivalent, there is an address associated with the account. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Nothing further.
Is not anything further?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right. The parts y'all have agreed to are all fine. I think we've agreed the last name will not be changed, so it's going to be Dye-Robertson, although it's so unusual. I'm not granting the non-disclosure request, so Ms. Dye, you do need to let Mr. Hagen know where you live, and he will do the same as well. There's been no family violence. There's no reason for a non-disclosure. Child support is going to be $965 a month, which is what it is based on guidelines. And I'm not sure what to order for regarding visitation. My only suggestion would be that kids can make adult decisions. Kids don't know any better sometimes. So, Mr. Haugen, if you're saying that you're going to rely on a child to decide, that's probably not something they're going to decide until it's probably way too late. So that's where, as an adult, as a parent, we have to step up and do something, even though it may make things difficult, maybe with your wife or other things. But you need to figure out something where you are visiting the child. It is obviously everybody agrees that it's in the best interest of the child that both parents are involved in the child's life. I understand, of course, distance is an issue, but it doesn't sound like that's the most major issue. I don't know what to order regarding visitation, other than just say visitation by agreement only. I don't hear Ms. Dye saying she doesn't want you to visit. So, Mr. Haugen, it's really going to be relying upon you to step up and say, I want to visit, and then propose to her a time frame of when you can do that.
I certainly wouldn't just jump up and say, hey, I'm going to take her home for the weekend. I mean, it would be a very slow start.
Well, you need to talk to Ms. Dye. First, you need to decide what you want to do, because it doesn't sound like you've made a decision about what you want to do. And then you need to talk to Ms. Dye. You can do that outside of court. You know, you don't need attorneys to do that, and say, hey, I'm going to be available this time. Like, you know, maybe you just do a daytime visit or something. I haven't heard that there's obviously no other serious issues. It's just a matter of you not knowing the child. Maybe it's a weekday visit. Just a day visit and not a whole weekend visit. Maybe not an overnight visit to start off with, and then work up from there. I can't really order anything specific because it doesn't sound like you really have a plan at this point. So what I hear, I guess, is Ms. Dye wants you to visit. She's upset you aren't. And Mr. Haugen, I hear from you that you just don't know what to do. So it really boils down to you, Mr. Haugen. You have to decide what you want to do and then talk to Ms. Dye. I think she's going to open the door. But I get her reluctancy of having you have the whole weekend, which I don't think that's what you want anyway. But maybe, like I said, a Saturday visitation.
I think that would freak out a little kid to do anything like that. So definitely not.
Well, Mr. Haugen, I'll put it to you like this. Every year, every August, kids are placed with strangers at their school for 8 hours a day, all day, all week long. Never met the person, never had a relationship with that person, don't know their name, and they're 6 years old, 5 years old, something like that. And they do this every August, and they're with this person 9 to 10 months of the year. That person's called a teacher.
Yeah.
So the stranger idea, I don't really understand that. I mean, it's not a 6-month-old child. We're talking about a 6-year-old.
Yeah, true.
6-year-old who is going to be with a stranger every year. So, like I said, I'm not trying to have a conversation with you, Mr. Haugen. I'm just trying to make you understand it is in the best interest of the child that you visit. You have to decide when you are able to visit, and then you're not a stranger. You're the parent. So you have to take the initiative to do something. If you don't, the child is not going to call you. A 6-year-old is not going to get on the phone and call you and say, hey, Dad, I want you to visit. They're not going to do that. And by the time they're 16 or 17, they're probably not going to want to visit, but they're going to wonder who their dad is. Again, they're probably not going to call you. You got to be the adult here. So that's something you just have to decide what to do. You have a door to knock on. You have a way to contact Ms. Dye. So that's something you can speak to her about once you decide that you want to be the dad. I understand you just had DNA test results recently, maybe, but either way, you have to decide what you want to do. It's hard for me to make a decision. If you were saying, hey, I want visitation now, then I could make some orders. But I don't hear you saying that. I hear you saying I'm reluctant to do that. And you want a 6-year-old child to decide. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So as I said, Ms. Dye is not closing the door. She just doesn't want it to go all in a whole weekend, is what I hear from her today. And it's going to be up to you to decide. So I'm just doing visitation by agreement. I know that's vague, but that allows y'all to talk later on and decide how y'all want to do that, rather than me mandating specific times and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. You need to acknowledge the $225 for payable to the state for the insurance.
Well, I thought that was part of
I think they set up the 250.
The medical support was $250, and it was announced as an agreement.
All right, that's fine. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was only speaking to the contested issue since we agreed to everything else.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. The Attorney General's office will draft an order based on my ruling and email y'all a copy. Y'all are done with court and are excused. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I can't even picture these people in a room together, let alone bumping uglies. But yeah, my conclusion is that they're both trash without additional context. He might have a story of like, she trapped him, but at the same time, she's cheating on his wife. So that makes him trash, and then she's trash just because she, was looking for a lick. And she found him. She was successful within her search, and then for 6-7 years, that's what she said, made out like a fat cat receiving $2,200 per month. Wife found out, he stops paying. Then she takes him to court and receives half of the amount that she was getting before. So I guess all in all, Michael won in this particular case, considering the circumstance. But Michael does not win in life. And again, I keep thinking about that daughter. Daughters need fathers. And it's clear that he wants nothing to do with her, to be an active participator within her young life. And all for what? From an escort service gone bad because you went raw daddy in that? All right, guys, that's been my comments for today. Leave me your comments down below. What do you guys think about this case? I think inevitably, you never want to be an author in your own downfall. And that's exactly what's happening to Michael in this situation. Wrap it up, because gentlemen, your seed is one of the most valuable things that you can produce. You just give it out willy-nilly. Well, this might end up being you. Until next time, YouTube.